Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. My name is Mabi. Today we're checking out the top 10 Super Nintendo games ever sold. This list is based on the number of copies sold during its shelved lifespan. Let's go! Number 10. Killer Instinct. Originally released as an arcade game in 1994 and later ported to the SNES, Killer Instinct sold 3.2 million copies worldwide. Being a port to the arcade cabinet did have its drawbacks, however, with sprites being smaller and using still images in lieu of full motion video. But this didn't stop Killer Instinct from being quote-unquote most famous for having the longest combos in the business. Besides, each copy sold came with the Killer Cut CD soundtrack of the game. Nostalgia. Number 9. Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. Super Mario Yoshi Island, or more commonly referred to as Yoshi's Island, was released in 1995 and has sold a total of 4 million copies across the globe. The game stars Yoshi and his brethren pals carrying baby Mario on a quest to save his brother Luigi. Widely well received, Yoshi's Island was later ported to the Game Boy Advance and even had a direct sequel on the Nintendo DS. Maybe if gamers didn't have to deal with Mario's constant crying, maybe it would have sold more. Number 8. Star Fox. Star Fox, also known as Starwing in Europe, was released in 1993. It sold just above 4 million copies. And for good reason. It was the second game developed by Nintendo that used three-dimensional graphics. Very new to console gaming, Star Fox was a much hyped new franchise. The story followed a group of mercenary pilots called Star Fox. Members consisted of Star Fox, the leader, Peppy Hare, the wise veteran, Falco Lombardi, the hot-headed daredevil, and Slippy Toad, the crafty mechanic. And for you gamers who started off with Star Fox 64, yes, Slippy was still as annoying as ever, even in the 16-bit era. Number 7. Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Selling over 4.1 million across the globe, Street Fighter 2 Turbo was released in 1992. This was the third game in the series following Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. This new version implemented faster gameplay, new special moves, and character balances. Arguably one of the best installments in the franchise, it has been ported and remade many times over. As of this video, the latest port was in the year 2015 and on the Virtual Boy. You know, the failed Nintendo project that when used for prolonged sessions caused major headaches. It was a nice try though. Number 6. Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Conquest. Released in 1995, DKC2 sold approximately 4.37 million copies. This success was most likely due to an already well-received game in the franchise. This sequel, however, totally changed things up. They ditched Donkey Kong, the main protagonist of the first game, and introduced his sidekick, Diddy Kong's girlfriend, Dixie Kong. With the addition of this new character and more abilities to traverse the stage in new and exciting ways, they built an even stronger foundation on what was already considered one of the best platformers on the console. I mean, come on, Dixie Kong plays guitar while Diddy Kong jams out in glasses? Pretty cool. Number 5. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. The third installment in the Legend of Zelda series. A Link to the Past was released in 1991 and sold 4.61 million copies. The plot revolves around Link traveling across Hyrule to defeat Ganon and retrieve the Triforce. Extremely well received, A Link to the Past was voted number 1 for 5 years straight on Nintendo Power's top games list. Taking the series back to its roots, it dropped the 2D perspective brought upon by the second game and instead re-implemented the top-down look from the original NES game, earning almost perfect scores all around by reviewers and critics alike. A Link to the Past definitely deserves the praise it's been given. Number 4. Street Fighter 2 The World Warrior. I know what you're thinking, another Street Fighter game? But to be fair, this is a list compiled of the most games ever sold on the Super Nintendo, and this one is right up there alongside Turbo Edition. Released just 1 year before Turbo Edition, World Warrior came out in 91 and sold a total whopping of 6.3 million copies. This was the first version of SF2 to be ported to the Super Nintendo, and along with it brought the joys of beating your friends senselessly in the comfort of your own home. Street Fighter 2 World Warrior paved the way and was a direct inspiration of many fighting games to come. Marvel vs. Capcom. Number 3. Super Mario Kart. The first game of a new series starring our favorite plumber, Mario Kart, was released in 1992. Selling 8.76 million copies worldwide, this was a new racing subgenre that cannot be ignored. The mass appeal of characters from the Mario franchise and the fun and easy controls made it accessible to a wide audience. Colorful stages, power-ups, and multiplayer are some of the key components that led to its success. Who knew that taking Nintendo's most famous mascot and sticking him in a go-kart would work out so well? well. Still crossing my fingers for an FPS Mario game. Number 2, Donkey Kong Country. Yup, another Donkey Kong game. Selling at around 9 million copies, DKC was praised for raising the bar for platformers immensely. Probably one of the most controversial arguments of why DKC sold so well was because of its sleek graphics and not of its gameplay. Using pre-rendered graphics, the characters and stages were given a three-dimensional physical appearance. Rare, the company who created the Donkey Kong franchise, actually visited zoos and studied them in order to model the characters after. After presenting a playable demo to Nintendo, it was declined, saying that they needed to reduce the difficulty level, stating that they wanted it to appeal to a much broader audience. Try 100%ing the game without any guides. You'll be playing for weeks. Number 1, Super Mario World. Was there any doubt that the top sold game on the Super Nintendo would be a Mario game? Released in 1990, Super Mario World sold 20.60 million copies. This is more than the number of copies Donkey Kong Country and Super Mario Kart sold combined. Much of this contribution, however, was due to the fact that Super Mario World was packaged with the Super Nintendo, a huge improvement over its predecessor Super Mario 3 on the NES. This new installment came fresh out of the box with tons of new features new to the Super Mario series. It also introduced for the first time ever in a Mario game, Yoshi. Essentially becoming a mascot for the Super Nintendo, Super Mario World was the game to own. Thank you all so much for watching my first ever top 10 video. If you enjoyed, I'd really appreciate if you'd leave a like to show your support, as well as subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Also, if you have any suggestions of what types of videos I can make, let me know here in the YouTube comments, message me on Twitter, or even chat with me about it live on my Twitch stream sessions. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Come on! The game stars Yoshi and his brethren carrying baby Mario. A list compiled of the okay. Who knew that Nintendo's a huge improvement over the predecessor? Come on.